Today I'm looking at Centralia. It was a town in America, and I'm going to play the video that comes afterwards to show you what this place went through, but it's another town that's gone. Another one. Another town in America that's gone. It just shocks me a little bit because, you know, I keep seeing places that have gone. It's by accident or whatever. And then this place came up and I was just doing a bit of research and I just thought, well, I came across this small documentary. So I'm going to play that, but I'm just going to talk a little bit just for a moment. I heard in the video them say in the mountain, the mountain, the mountain. So this isn't flat ground here, but what it is I wanted to see where it was. Okay, so there's Centralia. Oh look, mining, quarrying, mining, quarrying, all right up to that place there. So there's Centralia. Oh look, quarries, mine, quarries, everywhere. I was a little bit shocked that, look at it all, quarries, just quarries, everywhere. Just everywhere, quarries. Look at them all. They are everywhere there. Look, more and more quarries, mines, whatever you want to call them. You zoom in and you can see it's quarry, mine, whichever way you want to do it. They're taking minerals, whatever. They're taking stuff away. And I was like, wow. Because Centralia is, look, there's a little digger there. Look, there's a little digger. Just there. Oh, just there. Look, little digger. But when you zoom out, you can see that Centralia is in the middle of all this. I think we're going to be able to see it now. Look at it all. Quarrying. Oh, there's some towns now. But we're going to go back. I was just looking around because those are fields and houses. But here, quarry. It's obviously quite rocky there. But look, and there's Centralia. There, in the middle of it all. Quarrying around. I wonder what these are here. But anyway, I just saw those. But anyway, there you go. It sits in the middle. Whoops, a daisy. Out we go. It sits in the middle of all those quarries, mines, whatever you want to call them. So, all the way up here is mining and quarrying. But very sad for Centralia, another place that's gone. More recently, this one's more recent. This was something happened in the 1960s and it's still going on now, but it does remind me a bit of Christian. He goes on about what volcanoes are. It's just a slag heap basically, and I think the same with this, they've kind of made it into a volcano. That's what's happening, and they say it's going to burn for many more years. And look, there's Baltimore. Obviously Amy lives round. Ooh, my cursor's not working. Amy lives around, oh, I've lost the thing now. Come on, Karen. Amy lives Maryland. That's where Amy lives, in Maryland. Hello, Amy. She's gone on holiday for a few days. And there is Centralia up there. Anyway, now we're going to play the video, and they're struggling then as we struggle today. Listen to what they say. Thanks for watching. What's your thoughts?
I didn't know that the town was being slowly eaten away. I didn't know that the community was being slowly destroyed. If we want to save this community for our posterity, We've got to do something now to save it.
Well, it isn't very comfortable to live here anymore with the mine fire and the gases that we have to put up with. And just we're pleading for help all the time and don't seem that we're getting anybody's listening.
I felt that the government knew what it was doing. I felt that I didn't have a right. I wasn't an engineer. I was only a housewife, mother. What do I know about mine fires? But when they came back, when the government came back and drilled around my property and the temperatures were 626 degrees, I knew that they didn't know what they were doing. And I knew I had to get involved.
50 years ago, when coal was king, Centralia, Pennsylvania was a boom town. People were optimistic, jobs were plentiful, and the future seemed bright. Today, this picturesque mountain community, 100 miles northwest of Philadelphia, is a place where the nation's most extensive underground mine fire has made danger and uncertainty a way of life. Almost every day, steam generated by the mine fire belches from the roadside, marking the steep entrance to the town with an eerie reminder of the environmental nightmare which burns relentlessly 65 feet below the surface of the town. Huge vent pipes tower over this community of 1,000 people, allowing poisonous gases and noxious fumes to escape into the atmosphere. Of the 261 mine fires burning in America today, the Centralia fire is the only one which poses a direct threat to the health and safety of residents of a populated area. It is generally believed that the Centralia mine fire began in 1962 when burning garbage in a municipal dump ignited an exposed vein of coal. Once lit, the fire gradually crept through abandoned mine tunnels towards the town, endangering everything in its wake, including the timber and coal support pillars needed to prevent mine cave-ins. While the fire burns, it produces deadly carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide gases, which rise through the mine shafts and cracks in the rock strata, seeping into the homes of people living above. Attempts to suffocate and barricade the fire with a fine black powder called fly ash have failed.
I was in the service at the time when this fire was discovered, and the way I understand from people talking, that there was a contractor in there, and he offered to dig that fire out if he could have the coal. Now, I don't know what went on there or whatever went on there or what. He was turned down. They would not let him dig it out.
There have been many attempts over the years to put the fire out. There have been several attempts at excavation, which have failed. There have been several attempts at building a fly ash barrier, which has failed. The reason excavation has failed is that every time they went to excavate the fire, they ran out of funds, and so the project was abandoned. Fly ash, they pumped tons and tons of fly ash into the ground here, and the barrier did not hold. They'd pump it in at the top of the mountain, and it would wash out at the bottom of the mountain.
Well, I understand that in the 50s, one of the projects was only $50,000 or $60,000 short of being able to completely put the fire out, and no one could come up with the funds. But we're now at a point over the past 2 or 3 years where carbon monoxide is backing up into people's homes, and it's not just a matter that there's a mine fire out there. We're now talking about a fire that can have a very severe, devastating effect on the health and safety of the people of Centralia. So that hasn't been a 20-year problem. That has been about a 2 or a 3-year problem.
In December 1979, Centralians were reminded of the seriousness of their problem when the mine fire heated 8,000 gallons of gasoline at John Coddington's service station to near boiling point. His gas station, once a community landmark, is now a vacant lot. In February 1981, a 12-year-old youngster playing in his grandmother's backyard was swallowed up by a surface cave-in. Clinging to a tree root amid steam and temperatures of 350 degrees, Todd Dombowski's life was saved by the quick action of his cousin, who pulled him out of the hole. This event catapulted Centralia into national prominence and it prompted the United States Congress to underwrite the evacuation of 27 families from the vicinity of the cave-in. Funding was also provided for the continued use of electric gas monitors, which had been installed in several homes located on the perimeter of the evacuation site.
Well, I live here all alone, and naturally I'm scared. Because, as I say, when you go to bed at night, you don't know whether you're getting up the next morning. And it is scary. And when I'm here in the day and the monitor goes off, I feel like I'm going to take a heart attack. Well, I was advised to get a parakeet. And, of course, I call it Beauty. Just in case there's high gas readings, the bird would get sick or die, and you'd know it was too dangerous to live in the house then.
It is 7 minutes after 3 o'clock. Andy Thomas, your host here on Afternoon Magazine on WARD Pittston. The talk, of course, of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area. This is Historical Perspectives, our weekly program we do in cooperation with the Pennsylvania Museum and Historical Commission and the Anthracite region. We have Dr. David Soleil, who is director of the Anthracite Museum Complex here in Northeast Pennsylvania. David?
We do have as our guest today Tom Larkin, Mr. Tom Larkin, who is the president, and Joan Girolami, who is the vice president of the Concerned Citizens Against the Centralia Mine Fire.
The Concerned Citizens Organization, why was it formed?
We formed because we felt the government wasn't doing enough for the people or for the town of Centralia, for the surrounding community. And we felt after 20 years there's something wrong. There's something wrong somewhere. We had to voice our opinion, put some pressure on, and see if we could do the job. See if we could get the Congress, the Senate to come in there, get the funds in there, and do the job right.
Is there a division within the town of Centralia as to how the government should be helping Centralia? Are you getting differences of opinions? I hear you are. Joan?
Well, for one thing, there are two parts of Centralia. There's an impact zone, and that zone is where people are most affected by the gases and by the subsidence. The other part of town is the so-called safe part of town. There are no gases coming up through the ground in the homes. So people are divided on that factor. They feel safe. We don't, because we live in the impact zone. We have a monitor in our home. They come in and test every day, every room in the house. We have no more privacy. Our privacy is gone. Our life is a daily open book. My daughter can't sleep in her bedroom because there are readings of high gas up in her bedroom. And she's been getting sick, so we have her sleeping downstairs. It's a nightmare living like that. It's really a nightmare.
Working good, huh? Right on.
When I was expecting Angelique about, I guess, a year ago, a doctor came to Centralia, and at a town meeting he warned us that there could be possible birth defects from the carbon monoxide gas and the carbon dioxide and low levels of oxygen. And he warned that pregnant mothers should leave town and that the woman here shouldn't have any children at all. And he also said that the first 3 months were the most dangerous time. I was already 6 months pregnant, so it was too late to leave, and it was really scary. And then after Angelique was born, she was perfectly healthy, so I was really happy. And we had a good summer here with her and Katrina, and it was really just nice. And then fall came and winter, and we had to close the windows, and the carbon monoxide gases, they built up in the house. The levels got higher and higher. And Angelique one day came down with a cold, and she just seemed like she never got better. She got progressively worse and worse. Her eyes started to water, and she had a runny nose, a cough all the time, a really deep and severe cough. It wasn't, just once in a while. And then she got to the point where during the night she would just wake up and vomit all the time. It was really sad. It was frightening for us. So we went to our pediatrician, and he thought that the causes could have been related to the carbon monoxide. So at that time, we took it upon ourselves and we moved out of our home.
The government tells us, our state health department tells us that these gases are not dangerous to us, that we can live with these gases. The government bases its standards on an 8-hour work period within the coal mines. The government has no basis as to what the low-level effects are, with daily consumption of these gases, as it were. We have asked that a study be done, and there was a proposal made by Dr. Radford of the University of Pittsburgh, and he applied for funds to do such a study in Centralia, and his funding was refused. And the reason given by the government agency that refused the funding was that this agency had no power to control the pollutants. Mm-hmm. So, since they can't control it, they won't fund a study on it.
Well, this goes to a really fundamental question about the whole Centralia issue, and that is this, that people know there are hazardous materials in the effluents from this fire. They are well recognized as being potentially serious. Now, faced with that situation, the average citizen raises questions. Well, how bad is it? They try to ask various agencies of government, the usual kinds of sources of information that people are likely to get. And I think in the case of Centralia, they've gotten some rather conflicting statements. Once you have that situation, you then have a lot of questions arising in the minds of the average citizen as to whether they're getting the straight information. Now, that's not being a raving lunatic. That's just being sensible. Namely, if you have your family in a situation where there's a potential risk, you want to know about it, and you want to get straight answers. And I think that is illustrative of many of the environmental problems we have today, that the people don't think they're getting straight answers.
In peace, let us pray to the Lord.
While it burns, the Centralia mine fire is destroying more than just a town. It's threatening a way of life. The mine fire is breaking up the community. It is making it difficult to continue the traditions of the past as if nothing were happening. Despite their adversity, Centralians speak enthusiastically about their town and its values.
Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts which we are about to... Here in Centralia, the values, as far as family life go, I think are tremendous. The people generally love children, look after the elderly, support their church. They really love their church. And we do have a few problems, but I think raising a family in this environment is great as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I like it because I was born here, raised right here in this home. I'm here 59 years now. I wouldn't want to move.
You have to live in a small town to really realize what a small town means to the people, you know, to a person. It ain't like the city. I mean, you know everybody. Everybody knows everybody. It's like a big happy family.
For years, the serenity of this community was guaranteed by an unwritten code of conduct which influenced almost everyone's behavior. Thus, disagreements between people were polite and never resulted in public conflict. 2 decades of controversy, however, have altered that tradition. The mine fire's location has become a source of strong public disagreement. John Wondolowski, the part-time mayor of the town who operates a bulldozer at a strip mine just outside of Centralia, does not believe his community is in imminent danger. He is not without his critics and his supporters.
Well, the mine fire is extensive, but in my own personal opinion, I think it's moving away from the town. From my experience, I feel that some of the boreholes that were checked up there, the temperature's been going steadily down. The fire, I think, is east of town. I don't think it's really under the borough of Centralia. We know there's a fire there, but I don't think it's under the borough of Centralia.
Well, I don't know why anybody doesn't think it's down here. I think it is. I think the whole damn town is under fire, to tell you the truth.
To say that you have fire under the whole borough, no. I don't think this is true at all. I'm even doubtful if we actually have fire under the borough itself. I know we have a lot of heat, a lot of gas, on the southeastern end of town.
Steam can't travel that far underground. It's got to be coming from below. It can't be coming from over here and coming up here. It's not going like this. It doesn't travel like that. If it travels like this, it cools down. There is no steam. It once again becomes water.
My major concern is to try to get the fire out where it's at, dig it out, and preserve the town intact. And I think it can be done.
During the 20-year history of the fire, no agency of government has been able to determine the size or the exact location of the fire. Although 2,000 boreholes have been drilled into the mines to enable scientists to locate the fire, recently the federal government funded another borehole study costing $850,000. Centralians are skeptical of this proposal. They view it as yet another expensive but unproductive study which will not guarantee their safety or security.
Okay, I call this meeting to order, and I would like you all to stand, please, and we'll recite the Pledge Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
As I stated earlier, my name is Louis McNay, and I am with the Office of Surface Mining in Washington. I'm not really sure why I've been given the distinction of being able to present the program to you tonight, but I must admit I'm very pleased with this opportunity. We do have a draft contractual document that we're ready to release for the exploratory drilling program and related activities, but only after we have had this meeting tonight and we have given you an opportunity to review the preliminary documentation that we released and also to give us some of your thoughts and some of your guidance that we may incorporate those ideas and hopefully feel that we are providing you the service that you rightfully deserve and hopefully we were capable of giving you.
Is there any possibility that we may get a reinforcement of the fly ash barrier, the existing one, before the winter sets in again? Or must we suffer through another winter of uncertainty as to the protection of the lives of our people? What are we to do?
We are following the mandate of Congress that's set out in our appropriation language, and that's the only thing I can say.
But this is a borehole project, sir, will not protect us. We need, first of all, in many of our minds, a reinforcement of the existing fly ash barriers. And this settlement of the barriers is what's causing this gas situation that we have in town and the steam. And we implore you to look into this.
Well, it certainly will be one of the considerations that will be given once we have gathered the information from this drilling program.
As I sit here and listen, it comes to my mind, why will it be a full year of monitoring the borehole project? Is it going to be a full year and then a decision made? Or is there going to be something done in between that? Or are they going to wait? And why would it take a full year?
Okay, it takes time after the holes are complete, all the holes are completed, to assemble enough data to have a database from which you can make a report, and that's why it takes so long.
Marianne?
I'm curious to know if you're going to monitor these holes for a year. After a year, can you say, well, a year wasn't long enough, maybe we'll monitor them for another 6 months, or maybe another year? How long will the information you're going to get out of these holes remain pertinent? How long till they say, these holes are no good, we're going to bore new holes? How long will it be before that? How long will this information be good?
We will continue to monitor the holes, but hopefully, as I tried to explain and trying to develop a better understanding of what's going on in the mine, it might be conceivable that we will understand if the fire is moving and in what direction it is moving and some of the actual characteristics of the mine.
We got the run around. We still have to wait 1 or 2 years before they do a thing. And in the meantime, we are agonizing. The fire still burns unabated. Absolutely ridiculous.
We have encountered a lot of bureaucratic red tape. That's why we took on as our symbol the red ribbon. And that's why the town was decorated even last year with the red ribbon. Every time we ask for something, we're always told it takes time. It takes time, it takes money, you have to wait. There's other problems all over the country. In fact, that's what Congressman Nelligan told us when we were in Washington, that we're too emotional. We think Centralia is the only problem in the whole country. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be fighting this problem. We have to realize that the congressman has other problems. We do realize that, but we realize too that we have a problem. We want him to realize that. 20 years is 20 years too long. We've waited long enough.
I'm not saying that they should be patient with it. I'm saying they should understand it, however. They should understand that what it really takes to get $850,000 through the House, through the Congress, and signed by the President so we can go ahead with a borehole study. I think if they understand and they have confidence that there are people who are working very hard daily to resolve that problem, I think if they were assured of that and they had that understanding, I think they could be patient and they could be confident.
I think what we have here with the Centralia mine fire problem is a classic case of David and Goliath. If the fire that is burning near or under Centralia were burning near or under Pittsburgh, New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Chicago, I think you would have seen much prompter action on the part of the state administration as well as the federal administration. Here we have a prolonged natural disaster which is just going on for 20 years. The last 3 years it's really been getting progressively worse, but I don't see why the size of this town should be held against it.
The Buckleys are one of 27 families who lost their home to the mine fire. Both Mrs. Buckley and her daughter Shannon suffered chronic respiratory ailments, which they blame in part on the gases in their home. Today, they are trying to make a new life for themselves in a town 20 miles north of Centralia. The adjustment has not been easy. In fact, the pain is so great that Jim Buckley cannot return to Centralia, even to celebrate his daughter's 7th birthday.
We never had a desire to leave Centralia itself. Jim would have never gone. It's only for my sake and Shannon's sake, because he felt that probably our health would grow worse.
Yeah, at the beginning, you know, I sort of had to take the factors of my family's health. It really broke my heart and killed me to give up my home. But when it comes between my home and my family, I had to have a choice there. So I did move. That's the only reason I did move. If I was there myself, I'd have never moved. I'd still be there. I'd never move.
Now, should we sing? Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shannon. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. We had our home for 16 years, our entire married life. We had put all our money into it. Jim's mother passed away. We put that into it, which hurt him very deeply. To put all that money into the home, to remodel it, to make it that it's comfortable for us. And then a few, not even 2 years later, to find out that we were going to have to be moved out of it. We had signed an agreement with the government. But when the time came, we saw that what we were getting for the home was $11,000, which people thought we were getting a lot of money. It was supposed to be, it's worth $36,000, but we were offered $11,000 for it. They took off depreciation for this and that, and you ended up with that, and you took it or you stayed there. And we definitely couldn't stay. We worked so hard. We went through so much in that home. All our memories are there. The first hardest years of our marriage were there, and it'll never be the same no matter where we go, whether it was Bloomsburg or another community. It was our home, like Jim said, not that this isn't a nice home, but it's just too far away from home. You know, it's just a house here. It was a home in Centralia.
I feel, in my opinion, as far as the federal government is concerned, I feel the federal government would help an outsider quicker than they would help their own. What the reason is, if it's for foreign affairs or whatever, I do not know what is behind it. But I do believe that they have the money there is a fund there, and the money is there, and it should be used to put this fire out and not to cause the people of Centralia any more hardship. That is the thing, or cause somebody death, that eventually it might happen. Somebody might die over this stupid nonsense that they're playing with lives, as far as I'm concerned.
I feel like I'm not part of America anymore. The way the government treats us, they treat us like cattle, and maybe not that good. I said, I wish some of those officials had come here and really live here for a year. Just take our place just for 1 year, and then they know what it's like to live like this.
I think it would be nice if the government came in and said they were going to help us, and either by eliminating the gases here or by helping us to move so that we would feel safe. But I guess we can't really hope for that, because the policy with this government has been that everybody should help themselves and that they're done helping the citizens. And so we're going to try to help ourselves and move out on our own. But I hope that there will be some help for Centralia in some way from the government.
Really, I don't know what to say anymore. But I would like to go back. Like MacArthur said, I shall return.
Has it broken your spirit?
No, it has not broken my spirit one iota. I will be back in Centralia someday living.